All right. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mike. And today we're going to be breaking down UFC Vegas 87. And I am joined by my guy, MMA Propaholic. Been a minute since we've done a show together. How you doing, brother? How you feeling about this card? It's a banger, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, man. One banger of a card. We got a heavyweight main event, and the card starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Should be fun, but I think there's some interesting fights. A lot of chalky favorites, so this card's definitely interesting. I think it's interesting on a prop perspective as well, but I'm ready to get into it whenever you are, man.
Let's do it. We can hop right in. Let's go, Daz, my guy, always here supporting the show. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, everybody else tuning in, and let's hop right in. So, first fight of the night, we've got Radzhabov versus Abdul-Kareem Al-Selwady. Radzhabov, 17-5-1. He's 33 years old, the only 33-year-old fighter on this card. He's 5'11" with a 69-inch reach. Al-Selwady, he's going to be 15-3-0, 28. He's 5 years younger. He's going to be 3 inches shorter, and he's going to have the same reach. Prop, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so I actually have one unit on Radzhabov at plus 135. I just feel like this line for Selwady to be the favorite, I just don't agree with it at all. Like, yeah, he was a big underdog in his Contender Series fight against George Hardwick, but Hardwick has a completely different fighting style. He's a technical fighter who just likes to fight on the outside. He doesn't really mix in his wrestling at all. He doesn't really have forward pressure either. And it's like when you're watching his Fury FC film, he actually gets rocked by a jiu-jitsu guy and Nick Compton. I don't know why the announcers didn't point it out because Selwady ended up just backing up and then shot a double leg up against the fence. I think Michael Murphy as well, if you guys know who Michael Murphy is on that regional scene, he has horrific takedown defense. I think it was the opponent of Quinones where I watched Michael Murphy who couldn't stop one single takedown. And this guy has been knocked out 3 times in his career. We know Radzhabov packs a ton of power, and I feel like a lot of people are giving Radzhabov crap for his last fight. Like he fought Rebecca, who's literally on a 16-fight winning streak and fights southpaw. So he was able to destroy the inside leg of Radzhabov, who actually doesn't really know how to check inside leg kicks. I know Selwady doesn't really throw a lot of leg kicks, so I'm not really worried about that. I don't think his wrestling is going to be a big part here. I feel like Radzhabov is going to be the one to able to mix in the wrestling. I haven't seen Selwady deal with wrestling adversity, so I feel like he'll be dealing with that as well. I think Radzhabov can hurt him on the feet, and Radzhabov's faced a way better competition. I mean, he's been 5 rounds in the PFL before. I know people question his cardio, but like, why are we questioning this guy's cardio when he attempted 23 takedowns against Esteban Ribavocas, who literally hits way harder than Selwady as well, and is way more of a threat on the ground, in my opinion, with the Kimura traps and everything. So yeah, give me Radzhabov at plus money. I think he's like plus 155 now, so I feel like this line just keeps growing. And the KO opened at plus 485 yesterday, so if you guys got on that as well, I like that as well. But yeah, give me the Radzhabov money line at plus 135. That's what I have here.
Yeah, he's plus 157 in climbing, which is pretty crazy to me.
Yeah,
I guess someone dropped the bomb on Selwady. But for me, yeah, I tend to agree. I didn't know which way I was going to go when I first taped it. I had to tape this one twice. The first time I was looking at it, and I was like, all right, Selwady's probably a bit of a slicker striker, a little bit cleaner, moves well, has good wrestling of his own. I've never seen him face any takedown like adversity, like you mentioned. Like no one really shoots on him, so I don't really know if he has good grappling or not defensively. But I just felt like maybe Yoic would gas, and Yoic's a little hittable. And then I ran it back again, and like you brought up good points. Like, does Yoic really gas, or was he just short notice against Ribovich, which he was? And even in that fight, he shot like 21 takedowns. He got 11 of them. He was still shooting in the 3rd round. He threw his most strikes in the 3rd round and landed his most strikes in the 3rd round. And he's had 5 rounders. So I don't really think his cardio is actually that bad. And so Waddy's not really coming out here and knocking out anybody good. He wasn't even really hurting Hardwick. So I don't really see him coming out here and beating up on Radzhabov to the point where he gets exhausted and then gets a finish. So for me, I think I'm probably going to get to Radzhabov as well. I like his pressure. I like his pace. I like the wrestling. I like his experience. He's fought much, much better competition than Selwady. Selwady's best opponent is probably Hardwick, and Radzhabov, in my opinion, has fought people better than Hardwick. So for me, I think I'm going to get to the dog shot. I don't know yet. I'll make it official when I make my decision. Right now, I'm just going to wait on the line because I am a little hesitant just because of I don't like his striking too much for Radzhabov. I think he's a bit loopy, a lot of hooks. He does have a lot of power, but he leaves himself open for counters a lot. And if he's trying to pressure forward and Selwady can move away and land his strikes and then move away, I think it could be a hard fight for him. But at this price tag, it seems pretty stupid not to take a shot on him. I think this is like pick him at worst is what the line probably should have been. I think it's about a 50-50 fight. And that's just because we have so many questions unanswered with Selwady. But if I do make an official bet, it will be on the Beer Money Discord. That's where all my bets now are officially. You can find the link in my link tree. That's on YouTube. That's on Twitter. You can find it there. Monthly is $40, but you can get the discount code. I'll give it to you guys right now. Couch Warrior Pod, 25% off. So I think it comes out to like $31 a month. And you're not just getting MMA picks. I'm their MMA capper, but they have guys for basketball, college basketball, football, baseball, hockey. I think we had a guy ripping it on golf the other day. They got everything and they're nice with it. So make sure to check that out. And that's officially where all my bets are going to be once I place them. I'm not posting them for free anymore, unfortunately, but the breakdowns will continue and we can move on to the next fight. Next up, we've got a short notice replacement. We've got Vinicius Oliveira versus Benardo Sopaj, who's coming in on, I guess, 4 days short notice. Oliveira 19-3-0. He's 28, 5'9" at the 70-inch reach. Sopaj 11-2-0. He's 23, 5 years younger. He's going to be 3 inches shorter. And I don't have his reach, but I do think he's going to have a reach disadvantage just based off of my little eye test. I'll start us off here. So Oliveira at first was supposed to fight Giannis Gamori. That would have been an interesting one. But this one, I think this is an even better fight. This Sopaj kid, I don't think he's as good as people are making him out to be, like on Twitter and stuff. They're like going crazy about him. But I think he is pretty good. He's a solid striker, moves well, moves his head well. He's definitely going to have the better striking defense of the two of the guys. He's got some power. He's got some speed. And he can wrestle pretty well. He times his takedowns really nicely. Doesn't do it a lot. But when he does, it's pretty good. But I don't think his control is very good on the ground. He doesn't really hold guys down for long periods of time. Oliveira, I mean, the dude's awesome. Like he's a lot of fun to watch. He's trying to kind of like Anderson Silva-esque, hands down, like clowning around a lot. And like Anderson Silva, it has cost him in the past. Got knocked out by Ali Taleb in the third round of their fight. Banger of a fight. If you haven't seen that one, you got to watch it. And the commentator is hilarious. He's that guy who always screams, "Oh my days! Oh my days!" It's so good, bro. It's so good. But that's a big issue here with me for Oliveira. The line's pretty tempting at this point. I think he's like minus 140, which I think is a pretty solid line. It's just with those hands down, he's really hittable with the showboating. And even the way he strikes, he kind of overextends and leaves himself open for counters. So would I be shocked if Sopaj can land something nice? No, I wouldn't. But other than that, I think Oliveira is just the better guy. He's got tremendous power for the weight class. I mean, if you haven't seen his Contender Series knockout, you have to see that. Knock the guy out cold. He can swing a bit wild, but the technique is there. He's a clean striker for the most part when he's not going crazy. He can grapple too. He's got some decent offensive wrestling, some decent jiu-jitsu, nothing spectacular. His takedown defense is where I'm a little not sure. Like he's fought pretty good wrestlers like this Ulu guy who's like 19-3-0. And beat him, was able to out-grapple him, out-scramble him. He's got really good sprawls and really good underhooks. But I've also seen him taken down by some pretty weak attempts. So, Sopaj will have a few openings here. He might have an opening on the feet when Oliveira is getting he's not being careful. And he's going to have openings maybe with the ground game. But I don't think he can hold down Oliveira. And I think ultimately Oliveira is going to either knock him out or just beat the pulp out of him for 15 minutes. Prop, I know you said you didn't really get a chance to look at this one too much, right?
No, I mean, I looked at Oliveira, but I didn't do tape on Sopaj yet. I haven't had the time yet. But, I mean, this Vicente's Oliveira kid, he's fun to watch, man. I mean, he's got power of all days. He swings everything at the hips. He really has no striking defense at all. and he barks in the middle of the cage and he likes to throw down. I don't really see him going to wrestling at all, but what I think he does very well is he actually has a pretty good calf kicking game. He does it early, and then when he tends to get into wars, he actually forgets to be technical, and that's where I kind of don't really like his game is at, because when he's not technical, he puts himself in trouble. We've seen him drop in the Talib fight, which I think is he actually drops Talib really bad in the first round, and then in the second round he gets dropped as well, and I think he dropped him again, and then he got knocked out in the third round. So yeah, that fight was crazy as well. His Contender Series knockout's crazy. But I mean, the way he describes Sopaj, I think this is like a pretty even line fight, especially for a guy who's on 4 days' notice. And if I'm reading it correct, he actually trains at All Stars with Shamayev in them and Guram.
It looks like he's at All Stars. It looks like he spent time at Goat Shed, and it also looked like he's recently been at Extreme Couture, which is really good for a young guy.
That's interesting. Yeah, he's only 23 years old too. So yeah, these are two good prospects. I definitely got to tape Sopaj though before I obviously make a bet here. But if the Sensei's Oliveira kid, this kid's fun to watch. He's gonna be something in the UFC.
Prop, you got a fan over here.
Yeah, I might know who she is.
Is that your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. All right, we can move on though. Next up, we've got Christian Leroy Duncan versus Claudio Ribeiro. Duncan, he's going to be 9-1-0, 28 years old. He's 6'2" with a 79-inch reach. Ribeiro, 11-4-0. He's 31. 6'1". He's 1 inch shorter, and he's going to be at a 2-inch reach disadvantage. Why don't you start us off, Prop?
Oh, my bad. What'd you say? My bad. It's zoned out.
You're good. We're doing Ribeiro Duncan.
Okay. I got the under 1.5 at plus 130 here on the opener. I just feel like these two, it's either going to be like kill or be killed early. I don't really like Ribeiro's striking defense, obviously, and CDL actually, I think he has good pressure. He has good spinning techniques. I think Ribeiro's live to crack him early. And yeah, I mean, Ribeiro's chin, I don't think it's that good. I feel like he just backs up and waits for counter shots, and I feel like that's where he could kind of fall behind in his spot. Because I have the under 1.5 at plus money. I'm actually interested to arm it off a little bit with Duncan round 3 a little bit. I want to see what that line's going to open at, because when Duncan gets into his groove, he just has forward pressure and he really puts a beating on you. I don't think Tolinian is that good, but I do think he honestly is technically better than Ribeiro at range, which it might be a little crazy to say, but Tolinian actually is technical. I don't think Ribeiro is that technical with his punches. So yeah, give me Duncan to win this fight, but I think Duncan can honestly win in the third round though, via finish though. I think it's very live.
Yeah. For me, like the current line is pretty disgusting. Minus 300 on Duncan, a guy who can come out here and just lay an egg and not do anything. I did get the opener, obviously untracked, didn't tip it or anything, just for myself. I got plus 170, which I thought was pretty bizarre that they opened him at plus 200 for Duncan, which was nuts. But in terms of the matchup, like at this point with the line where it is, I was starting to think maybe Ribeiro's got a chance. He's got a lot of power. I think his striking is pretty good. Like seeing him go to the body. Duncan, I think his takedown defense is a bit suspect, and Ribeiro has gotten decent takedowns, but the thing is he does not have the cardio to keep doing that. Like if he starts trying to get takedowns and getting them, dude's going to get exhausted, and then Duncan's just going to finish him shortly after. Duncan, I think, is really good. I think he's a really good prospect with a really high ceiling, uses his range really well. I love the knees and the elbows. I think those are nasty, and I think those are good weapons to have in a fight like this. He can take a shot. Maybe Ribeiro can knock him out. Like I can see that, but I don't think it's super likely at all. For me, I think I'm going to be looking at maybe like the round props. I think those are interesting. Duncan round 2, round 3. I know the odds aren't spectacular by any means, but I just think that Ribeiro is going to gas. He does every single time. It's the same thing. He looks decent in the first round, and then he gasses and he does not look great. He has been to a 4th round before, but it was with Albuquerque, who was like 20-0 at the time and very old. So it doesn't really tell me way too much. I mean, the fact that it took him 4 rounds to finish a guy like that is maybe more telling than anything. But yeah, for me, Duncan's just a better mixed martial artist. I think he's got way more tools, way more weapons. And unlike Ribeiro, he does have the cardio to be able to fight 3 rounds. So I think those round props are going to be the way to tackle this if you're going to do anything. And we can move on. Next up, we've got Javid Basharat versus Aiemann Zahabi. Basharat 14-0, 28 years old. He's 5'9" at the 69-inch reach. Zahabi 10-2-0, 36. He's going to be 8 years older, 1 inch shorter, and he's going to be at a 1 inch reach disadvantage. I can start us off for this one. I mean, look, Basharat's minus 700. Do I think that's correct? No, but I think it's not too far off. I do think Basharat's going to dominate this fight. Dude is an absolute stud. Him and his brother. You can't doubt the guys. They're so well rounded. They're vicious. They've got really nice wrestling, really good jiu-jitsu. Ground and pound is nasty. On the feet, they're pretty good too. I don't think they're quite there yet, but they're definitely very solid strikers. He can maintain his range. He's got clean 1-2s down the pipe. He mixes in elbows. I like it a lot. Zahabi at this point, at 36, he's looking probably career best at this point. But he's beating guys who are kind of like blah. Arichi Lang, he knocked him out. Ricky Tercios, where Ricky threw like 500 strikes and landed like 10% of them. And then Draco Rodriguez, no longer with the UFC. Lost to Vince Morales, which is a terrible look in my opinion. Don't have a ton of info with Zahabi grappling, really, like against good grapplers. How does he look? We don't really have that information. But from what I've seen from the Ramos fight, I think Basharat's going to cruise here. I think he's going to I honestly think he's going to finish Zahabi. I just think it's going to come a little later. I know people said, like, I was talking to somebody and they were like, Zahabi's got a black belt though. Will Basharat sub him? I mean, how many times have we seen black belts get submitted? So many times. And if Basharat's drowning him out, tiring him out, it's getting late in the fight, I don't see why he can't lock in a sub or maybe TKO him with ground and pound. Because like I said, his ground and pound is absolutely vicious. So that's another spot where I'm going to be looking at round props, maybe round 3 decision when it comes out. Those are things I'll be looking at. How about you, prop?
Yeah, I'll be attacking this fight the same way. Zahabi's just very low volume. He's just looking for a big counter punch to knock you out. He throws pretty good inside leg kicks. I see that's a pretty good part of his game as well. Training at TriStar as well, obviously, but I mean, Basharat's very impressive. I mean, when you go back and actually watch his career through the Contender Series to the Victor Henry fight, he's just evolved so well. Like, he has great knees to the body. He actually stunned Trevin Jones really, really bad with a knee to the body in the first round. And I know he didn't end up getting Jones out of there, but he basically just beat on Trevin Jones the rest of the fight, who kind of has like almost the same fight style as Zahabi. In the Gravely fight as well, he pushed the pace on Gravely. I liked what he did in the Mendoza fight. He showed pretty good grappling there. He showed really good takedown defense in that fight as well. I think he's going to have a lot of opportunities to actually finish Zahabi late in the fight. I feel like he's going to be able to keep his distance. He's going to be able to throw a lot of T-kicks to the body. He's going to be able to attack the lead leg a lot. I mean, if Vince Morales is landing leg kicks on you and damaging your lead leg like 3 years ago, I mean, Basharat's just going to maul it. I think Basharat's going to be able to mix in takedowns here. I know that Basharat now, like Fareed Basharat, his last fight, I think he went for like 11 or 12 takedowns against Lapalus. I feel like Javid's going to come out with the same exact game plan, knowing that Zahabi's probably at his most live on the feet with his counter-punching power. So I feel like he's going to close the range. He's going to get this guy down, and I think he's going to ground and pound him late. I want to see what Bet Rivers is going to open KO2 and KO3 at, but it wouldn't shock me if he submitted him as well with like an arm triangle or something, because I think he's just going to damage Zahabi on bottom. Like, we're going to be getting a minus 700 favorite, like in round 2 and round 3 at such high numbers against a 36-year-old who's low output and is relying on a counterpunch to knock you out, against a guy in Basharat who's 4-0. I think the UFC is trying to give Basharat a finish here, honestly. So, yeah, give me Basharat round 2 and 3. That's how I'll be tacking it here. And I might honestly sprinkle round 3 KO as well if it's at a really good number.
Yeah, that's an interesting look too. I'm going to be doing my scoping. You know me and my round props.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
good though is those DraftKings openers. I was able to lock in when it first opened. Basharat was minus 250.
Oh, wow.
I put a lot. Like for me, I put a lot of money on that.
I probably would have too. I probably would have smashed 5 units.
I hit it hard. I hit it hard. Obviously,
you did your job. Yeah, that's
not tracking, nothing like that. Just a bet that I'm saying I was able to snipe because DraftKings
money's money, man.
Ridiculous lines sometimes with those openers. But all right, we can move on. Next up, we've got another short notice replacement. We got Ludovit Klein versus AJ Cunningham. Klein originally supposed to fight Yoel Alvarez. That would have been way more fun, but it is what it is. Klein 24-1. He's 29 years old, 5'7" with a 72-inch reach. Cunningham 11-3-0. He's also 29. He's going to be 3 inches taller, and he's going to be at a 1-inch reach. Disadvantage. Why don't you start us off, Rob? Oh wait, you didn't really
this Cunningham guy, I haven't taped him yet, but I mean he's plus 550, so I'm assuming he's just gonna get smoked.
I'm not paying for this. I don't think you have to pay for anything, Lou. This is all free. But all right, yeah. So I'll do it then. I knew Cunningham already from the Contender Series, and I mean the fact that I faded him with Nguyen at like chalk kind of should tell you everything you need to know. Honestly, like when I was running the tape back right before the show, he actually looks better than I remembered. His striking is pretty decent. He's not a guy who's coming out here and throwing crazy, like wild strikes straight down the pipe, going to the body, not doing just one punch and go. He's doing punches and bunches. The problem with him is he's just super hittable. He's super, super hittable. And a guy like Klein is super well-rounded. He's a great striker. He's got a lot of power. His output leaves some stuff to be desired, but I think he's going to be just fine here. He can mix in the grappling. I don't have enough info on Cunningham's takedown defense to get a good read on it, but do I really think Klein's going to wrestle too much here? Probably not, just because I think he's going to knock out AJ Cunningham at some point. Cunningham's just a punching bag, man. Like, even though his striking is good, he just takes way too many shots. And I think Klein is a better striker, way more technical, way cleaner. His body shots are nasty. And I think at some point the damage is going to add up and Cunningham's going to go down. So is there a way to play this at -800? Not on the money line. And I'm not crazy about the totals. I know some people on the over 1.5. I think it's like pick 'em. I think that's a decent spot because Cunningham really isn't that bad. And he's not like a glass cannon where Klein will touch him once and he'll just die. But Klein has a ton of power. So I'm a little hesitant on that over. But we can move on. I'll be looking at the KO props. If the decision prop is something like ridiculous, maybe I'll do that. We'll see what the round props are. We'll see. We're going to be talking about this all card because we have -400, -500, -1,000. It comes down to not who do you think will win, but how do you think this person will win. So we can move on, though. It's Steven Wynn, dude. You know what? At least I pronounced it better than Prop probably would have. Okay? So
100%.
I do my best, Steve. I do my best. Moving on, though, we've got the people's lock of the week. We got Eryk Anders at like -450 versus Jamie Pickett. Anders 15-8-0. He's 36, 6'1" with a 75-inch reach. On the other side, you got Pickett. He is 13-10-0, 35. He's 1 year younger. He's going to be 1 inch taller, and he's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage. I'll start us off here. I mean, look, do I think the line is crazy? Yes. Do I think it's far from accurate? Honestly, no. Because I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, how does Pickett win? Pickett probably wins if he knocks out Anders at some point. Does that happen at a high clip? No, I don't think so. I think we get a bunch of cage pushing. I think we get some wrestling from both guys. I think Anders is going to get more takedowns than Pickett will. I like Anders striking better. I don't like Jamie Pickett's striking defense. I just don't. Pickett's just not at the UFC level. And Anders, even though he's 36, even though he doesn't have the shiniest record recently, I do still think he's UFC caliber. And honestly, I think he's going to finish Jamie Pickett too. So for me, this is another thing where it's not who's going to win. It's going to be how's he going to win or when is he going to win. How about you, Prop?
Yeah. I mean, I think Eryk Anders is definitely a pick here, but like I'm not playing this guy at -450, dude. Like I ain't even want to play him at -300. Like it's like when I laid chalk on Devin Clark against Pacquiao, I just had that bad feeling when I laid the chalk that it was just like, why am I laying -185 on Devin Clark, a guy like Devin Clark? Like that's just kind of how I feel here. But this is Jamie Pickett. It's a different story. But like I feel like the way to play Anders here is the knockout. Honestly, like Anders doesn't really submit people. I know his last finish is Kyle Dawkins, but like I mean, JB Pickett might have worse striking defense than Kyle Dawkins. Like, he got finished against Dennis Tulinian. I mean, I just feel like,
Hey, Dennis is a good boxer. No Dennis
yeah,
slander allowed on this show.
I know he's a good boxer, but like he finished him in the second round, and that guy's cardio is atrocious, man. It's terrible. So yeah, I think Anders can push the pace on him. I think he's gonna go for takedowns here, but like it wouldn't even shock me if he got ground and pound. I mean, this is like the same thing I want to do in the Basharat fight. Like I'm just gonna see what KO2 on Anders and KO3 on Anders is, and that's probably how I'm gonna play this fight as well. But yeah, I'm not laying minus 450 on this guy. I'll tell you that right now.
What do you think of all the love on the Anders sub? I see so many people, and I know someone I respect very much who's on the sub, and to me, it's kind of like you're depending on Pickett having been submitted all these times, sure, but like it was Bo Nickel, right? And then it was Kyle Dawkins, who does have good jiu-jitsu. He might not be the best martial artist, but he's got good jiu-jitsu. And Anders has one sub, right? He's got one sub win
in 2016.
Yeah, I feel like he's way more likely to knock him out, TKO, ground and pound. Like that's how I think he's going to finish the fight.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. But if he gets the sub, man, and someone calls the sub, I mean, that's just a great call.
Yeah, it is worth saying though. Like the person I was speaking to, they had plus 800, so now it's plus.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, they have a reason there at that number. Yeah, why not take it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But all right, we can move on to my boy. We got Matt Schnell versus Steve Erceg. Schnell is 16-7-0. He's 34 years old, 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. Erceg 11-1-0. He's 28. He's going to be 6. Oh wow, I almost did terrible math there. Yes, 6 years younger, same height, 2-inch reach disadvantage. Prop on that you start us off.
Yeah, so I mean, I like Erceg here. I don't really think Schnell is honestly live in this spot as much people think he is. I feel like his pressure is going to get him hit here extremely hard. Like I think Erceg
gotta leave now, Prop. You got to leave now.
I think Erceg actually has good striking though. Like I know he only has 1 knockout on his record compared to like 6 submissions, but he does get knockdowns at a high clip. I mean, he hurt Dvorak early with a left hook, like right behind the ear, and it stunned Dvorak pretty bad. He dropped Dvorak in the second round with a head kick and then almost ended up clubbing subbing him with the guillotine, which I thought was pretty crazy as well. Got taken down at the end of that fight, but that was also a short notice fight for him. I thought he fought pretty well against Costa. I was actually there live watching that. I had to rewatch it today. But yeah, he dropped Costa early. He had his back. I feel like he overcommitted a little bit in that spot where he could have submitted him. Costa hurt him really bad in the second round as well. But Erceg was able to recover and basically win the fight up against the fence. But Costa was doing like rookie mistakes. Like he didn't break the clinch. He was just standing up against the fence, and he kind of thought like he had the second round in the bag, which I thought he did. But he had some moments in the third round. He just couldn't get off the fence. Like unlike Costa, like Schnell's gonna try to get off the fence. Like Schnell's just gonna be in Erceg's face. I think Schnell's way of winning this fight is to cause damage here, like he usually does. I just don't know how much damage he can really honestly take at this point. Like I feel like the Medarji fight did a lot on him. I know he's been knocked out 4 times, but like he's been knocked out against guys like Pantoja, who hits like a truck. Nicolau, who we know literally has a lot of knockdowns. You know, he doesn't throw a lot of volume, but he hits really goddamn hard. Like if I see a finish here on the Erceg side, which I do see it being, I think it's going to be a club and sub, because he does have club and subs on Eternal MMA, his regional scene. And he put Dvorak in a submission when he knocked him down. He put Costa in a submission as well after he hurt him. Like, I don't think Steve Erceg has the power to just knock Matt Schnell out like Nicolau and Pantoja does. I think he's going to hurt Schnell here, but I think it is going to be a submission. So, yeah, give me Erceg by submission here. I like the spot, even knowing like Brandon Royval, like every single time Matt Schnell gets hurt, he puts one hand down and he basically kind of puts himself into the guillotine after he gets hurt because he kind of sits there stunned. And a guy like Erceg, he's going to pull for the guillotine. And if you even watch close, like Matt Schnell, like on top of Sumadarji, he is a purple belt, Matt Schnell. I know he has 9 submissions to 2 submissions on his record, but he had his hands on the mat. Like, why do you have your hands on the mat? Like, you're gonna get put in a damn armbar. Like, so, like the guy's just gonna throw up an armbar on you. So yeah, I feel like he kind of makes mistakes on the ground, knowing he's a purple belt as well. I know Erceg's a black belt, so yeah, I think Erceg submits him here. I just want a better number than plus 225. I'm actually shocked that the KO is lower than the submission. Like, to me, it just doesn't really make sense because Erceg isn't Pantoja and fucking Nicolau. So,
yeah, I think people are just so focused on the terrible chin. Dude,
has great recovery, though, dude. Matt Schnell's recovery is elite, dude. It's elite.
It's the same narrative every week, just for different fighters. People just can't get the old fights out of their damn heads. And like, and I guess they think Schnell has great jiu-jitsu. So they're like, oh, okay, Erceg can't sub him, that he'll knock him out though. I don't know. For me, look, I know I posted a thing on Twitter where I was like, Schnell plus 270 and climbing. And I did the gif like, we're going to do it again. But it was a joke. I'm pretty sure one of the big accounts on there actually took me dead serious and then made a whole post about not betting underdogs blindly, which I thought was hilarious because I was just straight up joking. I do love Matt Schnell very much. I love that he cashed me that ticket against Sumaderji, where again, everybody told me I was wrong. Everyone said you're an idiot. This is the worst bet ever. Prop was there live, I'm pretty sure. I know I was there live. We were all going bananas. Look, skill for skill, I'm not going to say he's better than Erceg. Just skill-wise for Schnell in general, I think he's really good. I think Schnell is a really, really good fighter, just skill-wise. His boxing is great. His output is great. Like, the boxing is so clean, and he's so fast on the inside. At range, maybe not. But when he's up close, my guy's going, and you can't even blink, and he's already landed 6 strikes, and then he's out. And his grappling is also really, really good. He's got great jiu-jitsu, very opportunistic, and, you know, maybe he can get his own club and sub. Maybe. But I'm also a huge Erceg fan. I bet him against Dvorak when he was the underdog. I think he's a stud. I think he does everything really well. He's well-rounded. Output on the feet could maybe be a little bit better, but the striking has definitely developed a lot. His grappling is really, really good. Great takedowns, great jiu-jitsu. He's got everything you need. And unlike Schnell, who I love very dearly, his hardware is not malfunctioning. Steve Erceg is healthy, happy, 28 years old. Chin seems to be there for the most part. Schnell, unfortunately, his body seems to be failing him at this point, which sucks because if maybe this is a few years ago, I would be on Schnell. And I will say I have a list of fights that I want to retape. I do this every week for myself because sometimes I'm too tired. Sometimes I'm just not in the right mindset. I'm just like, I don't want to do this. So I'll tape a fight. I'll take down my notes and then I'll come back to it again. So I will check this one out again because I do think Schnell is really good. And if the line does get bananas, maybe I'll take my shot. But we'll see. With Erceg, it's like, do I want to parlay him? Not really. Not really. I think he's gonna win, but I just don't want to parlay him at this line against Schnell. And then do I want to mess around with the method props? Not really either, because I don't think he has a ton of power, but Schnell's chin is kind of dying. And I think he could sub him too. So then again, I'm just flipping a coin at this point. All right, we got a max bet Schnell. You with me, prop?
Oh man. This guy about to be fighting like Ortega, man.
Yo, literally. But no, Schnell's my boy. Erceg is also my boy. I'm going to be picking Erceg to win by finish. I can't tell you which method, honestly. Like, I feel like what you said, club and sub makes sense.
Yeah, I just lean the sub more. Like, yeah. I think he's going to knock him down. I think Erceg's going to knock him down. I just don't think he has the power to honestly finish him. I just feel like he always goes for the sub when he hurts someone, dude. Like, when you watch his tape closely, he always hunts the sub when he hurts someone, dude. So I just want to get like plus 275 to plus 300 range, hopefully, on that number.
Well, let's see what Bet Rivers and FanDuel do for us.
Yeah, let's just hope.
And I guess the round props make sense too, but I think out of all the fights, some of the worst odds on the round props are on this one because the bookies just know. They just know at this point.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we can move on. That is a fight I'll look at again, but my post is a joke. I'm not betting Schnell for now, and we'll see what happens. Moving on, though, we've got a fight I'm actually really hyped to talk about. We've got Umar Nurmagomedov versus Bezkat Almakhan. Yeah. Umar, 16-0, undefeated. He's 28 years old, 5'8" with the 69-inch reach. On the other side, we got Almakhan, 17-1-0. He's 26. He's 2 years younger. Don't have his reach, but he is 5'7", so he's 1 inch shorter. Why don't you start us off, prop?
Yeah, I obviously not a hot take. I like Nurmagomedov here, but Almakhan, he has power. Like he hits damn hard. I mean, when you go watch him get submitted like a couple of years ago, he actually knocks down this guy in the first round and was brutalizing him up until he ended up he actually got knocked down himself and then
Where'd
got
you find that
submitted.
fight, prop?
Well, I'm on I have Tape Index, so I found it on Tape Index. So
I used
they
the
just
other one, and he didn't have that one. Can you send me the
okay.
link later?
Yeah, I got you.
Good books.
I just think Nurmagomedov's going to be able to wrestle here. I don't think he's honestly going to stand the range of this guy. I feel like he's going to come in with the game plan like he did against Nate Maness. I didn't see why he would honestly wrestle Hani Barcelos, who literally is a great wrestler and is a good jiu-jitsu guy as well. I just feel like if he's to stand and bang with this guy, he's going to put himself in more risk. So why not go to the ground? So yeah, like it's just like how Bet Online's pricing like the KO. Like they have their Nurmagomedov's KO at like plus 300. Meanwhile, him to win by KO in his last fight, which I literally remember calling with you at like 8-1
On
odds.
prop talk. On prop
Didn't
talk.
even. It was so sickening. I didn't bet that shit. But yeah, I just even think the sub at plus 160 is a good number. But the way I'm going to attack this fight is I'm probably going to attack sub 1 and I'm going to attack sub 2 as well. Because I just feel like Nurmagomedov's going to honestly get this done. Like I think this Almakhan guy, he's good. I feel like he's pretty damn good. Like I think he's got power. He doesn't have bad wrestling himself though. But I just feel like this is too much, man. It's a minus 1100 favorite in Nurmagomedov. He's gonna take this guy down. I think he's gonna submit him, and I think it's gonna be early as well.
Yeah. So honestly, I was going off of what people were. I've seen Almakhan fight a few times on Octagon with a C, and I was seeing people talk about him and saying he was kind of trash. And I ran the tape. Honestly, dude, this guy is fucking good.
Yeah, he's not bad, man.
Not just not bad. Like this guy is really fucking good. If you ask me, I think he's actually really good. And this is a fight we could have seen later on in their careers, like as maybe a title eliminator or something. Like he's good everywhere. He's really good everywhere. He's got great takedown defense, even though it's not tested a lot. So I don't know what it's going to look like against a guy like Umar. He's got great striking. Honestly, out of the two of them, I think I like Almakhan striking better than Umar's. I think he's a little bit cleaner, a little bit crisper. I really liked what I saw on the feet. Like, I think the dude's a stud. And then Umar obviously is a stud. We all know him. We all know his name, Nurmagomedov, training out there in the mountains, fighting little bears. Elite wrestling, elite jiu-jitsu, elite everything pretty much. The striking, in my opinion, same reason I gave you shit back when you called it on Prop Talk. I'm not sold on his striking yet. I think it's really good. I do really think it's solid, but it's gonna get better, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I don't think it's quite where it's going to be. I do think Umar wins. I do think the grappling gets the job done, and I think I'm going to be going with the sub here. I don't know about rounds. I was thinking just playing the sub prop straight. It's like plus 160, I think, which I think is pretty good. I just don't really think he's going to knock out Bezkat, to be completely honest. And then in terms of if I'm going to play with rounds, again, another fight where I might end up playing with the round props. It's going to be this is like in terms of like a slate this week, I'm probably going to have the most round props I ever had, just because we have all these minus 500-600s who I think are going to win. But now I got to figure out, is there a way I can bet this? Is there value on any of these methods or rounds? Cap, I'd take Propaholic over Almakhan. I'll DM you later. We can talk about it. I don't know, bro. I think Almakhan is real good. But let's see what my guy. If you guys aren't following Tyler, do it. Do it now or get out of here. I don't want to see you anymore. Tyler is the man. 138 MMA. Dude is awesome. I do my pay-per-view shows with him. We do the panel all the time. Guy is obsessed with MMA. I've never seen anything like it. He literally can't look at a person and not think, can I fuck this guy up or not? But let's see what he's saying. Common take this week is Almakhan is really good, but he's getting wrecked against Umar. I haven't heard much of Contreras, and I see why. I mean, you're not hearing contrarian take because everyone's too much of a weenie to say Umar's going to lose. But look, I don't think he's going to win Almakhan, but I just think he's really good and he'll make it relatively close. It's just like if I'm going to actually do it, if I'm going to do it and play that plus whatever it is, 700, then I got to at least explain to myself how is he winning it? Is he going to knock out Umar? I don't think so. I mean, Islam got knocked out off a random punch. It's possible, but I don't think so. Is he going to sub Umar? No. That I can tell you flat out now. And is he going to win a decision? Extremely unlikely. So even though I think he's really good, I can't think of a way he's going to win. So I don't think I'm going to get to that beautiful plus 700, unfortunately. And we can move on. Mountain over here saying Almakhan is finishing Umar. Well, you better be betting on it, my brother, then. You better be betting on it. All right, we can move on. Next up, we've got Alex Perez versus Muhammad Mokaev. Perez 24-7-0. He's 31 years old, 5'6" with a 65-inch reach. Mokaev 10-0, undefeated. He's 23. That is 8 years younger, 1 inch taller, and he's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage. I'll start us off here. So, yeah, I mean, look, again, Mokaev's minus 360. Do I think it's wide? Maybe a little bit, just because none of his performances in the UFC so far against lesser competition has showed me that he should be, minus 360 over really anyone yet. Because, dude, if you're minus 360, like 500, whatever it was against Gordon, like that performance didn't show it. Against Filio, that performance didn't really show it. Against Elliott, it certainly didn't show. I mean, I had an Elliott ticket there, and I couldn't believe I was about to cash it, except for if that sub didn't happen. The dude lost a round controlling Elliott because he wasn't doing enough on the ground. He wasn't doing enough ground and pound, wasn't looking for subs enough. Dude's on a 34-fight win streak, counting amateurs. He's experienced at this point. He's 23, but I think he's still got some ways to go. So it's like it's probably an accurate line, but I don't know if it's really going to look like he's covering it or not. And then Perez, I've never thought highly of Perez at all. I really haven't. I don't think any of his wins are really that impressive. Like, probably his most impressive win is Jose Torres, and Jose is pretty damn small and not a great striker. He's a wrestler first. He did beat the crap out of him. He landed 80 significant strikes in that fight, but this is also back in 2018. I feel like we've seen kind of a decline. And then he's beating Mark De La Rosa, no longer with the promotion, and in my opinion, wasn't quite good anyways. Jordan Espinoza, who can't grapple to save his life or any of his loved ones' lives. Juicier Formiga, who at that point was on the decline. It's actually relatively impressive because even on the older side of things, Formiga was still pretty good, but not the most impressive win. And then Figgy subs him real quick with the guillotine. Pantoja subs him real quick with the rear naked. The way I see it playing out, Mokaev just keeps shooting, maybe not getting those first few takedowns, but eventually he's going to drag his ass down. And Perez is a great wrestler. He's credentialed and everything. But I just think Mokaev's going to be too much. I think that he's got great cardio, relentless pace. And he doesn't give up. You got to give it to him. He's got that dog in him. Absolutely. He's had fights where he was in bad situations. Filio almost tore off his knee. Gordon almost submitted the guy. He had his back. Like
Elliott broke his arm too. If you don't know that, Elliott broke his arm too.
He broke his arm?
In that arm bar, yeah. He posted a picture with his cast and posted the picture with Filio with the knee as well.
Yeah. So Mokaev, like he's fought through a lot of adversity, and Perez is like the opposite. I kind of see Perez wilting, and I just feel like Mokaev will break him eventually. So again, unfortunately, I'm repeating myself all show, but this is a spot I'll be looking at round props, I think. I was considering just saying screw it and let me go with the sub or the ITD, but it's like plus 100 now, and I don't really want to do that because Mokaev does tend to drag these fights out. He's not doing a ton on the ground. He's not actively hunting subs all the time. He's not throwing a ton of ground and pound. So then if I play his ITD and we go to a decision, I'm going to be sick to my stomach. How about you?
Yeah. I mean, I had Mokaev in the last fight. I actually had his round 3 sub against Elliott and had a submission straight. So I like that cash. Here I can't get to Mokaev. I wanted to parlay him at minus 250. Well, my gut was just telling me not to do it. Like, it's hard for me to tell what Alex Perez we're going to get here. Like, I don't know if he's going to come out, stuff all the takedowns, because if he stuffs all the takedowns, he's winning this fight. He's going to win this fight on
Yeah,
the
he's
feet.
a way
Like,
better striker.
Alex Perez is a pretty good goddamn striker. He has really good leg kicks, mixes in body kicks as well, and has a really good leading jab. And he has a pedigree and background in wrestling as well. So I feel like for Mokaev, this is Mokayev's biggest test to date. You know, as you were mentioning, Couch, like we've seen Mokaev like reversed from top to bottom against guys like Malcolm Gordon having his back taken. I think Filo is actually very good on the ground. I think his jiu-jitsu is way better than Alex Perez. Like, we're not going to be seeing Alex Perez on bottom going for fucking knee bars. Like, we're not going to see that here. Like the Elliott fight, I think Tim Elliott's very good. So like I feel like Tim Elliott now might be a tougher matchup than like what Alex Perez is now. So I feel like Mokaev might be able to submit Alex Perez here. I just don't really have any information on Alex Perez's takedown defense. Like, I haven't really seen in fights where he's struggling with wrestling adversity at all. So I feel like I just can't really get to Mokaev at his money line, and I really can't get to his sub. So the bet I actually like is, if it comes out, is probably Mokaev round 3 decision. But Alex Perez has been submitted 4 times in the first round. So that's kind of what's just like putting me away. But yeah, I'm going to pick Mokaev here. I'll pick him to win by submission in the 3rd round because, I mean, this guy, like Tyler saying in the comments, like if this guy wins by submission again in the 3rd round, it's going to be an auto bet for the rest of his career. Yeah, 100%. So yeah, give me Mokaev here by submission. But I think Alex Perez is extremely live in this spot because we just don't know what Alex Perez we're going to get, man. Like we just don't at all. So that's why I'm just staying away. I am not playing Mokaev at this goddamn number. No way.
Yeah. I do not like his striking, but he's just not on the feet long enough to even see if the striking's developed.
Striking is just so weird. Like he throws so many kicks. It's almost like he runs out of ideas, so he could just think of a way to try to shoot in. Like that one takedown he got where he did like a flying knee into a double leg. It's like this guy's just thinking of ways on the feet when he's literally fighting to get the fight to the mat, I feel like.
Yeah, so far I have, I think, 3 or 4 round 3 decision props that I'm going to be looking at this week.
Okay. I mean, you're good at those. I don't really bet those, but I think here with Mokaev, if it's around like pick up minus 125 range, I'll probably bet it to win a unit.
Yeah, I had a plus 130 on Zelyaber round 3 decision. Ooh. And dude, I was when that round ended and he's like, yo, I can't see. And his coach is like, it's okay, you don't need to. I was like, yeah, you don't need to. You don't need to.
Lose your vision for me.
if it ended there, I was clipped. So I was like, fuck it. Give me some sicko doctor. Come in there and tell him he's fine. And they did. And then
I don't know how, man. Prado's a monster, man.
He's a monster. He's a
monster, man. I hope they give him a setup fight next fight, man. Deserves it.
Yeah, definitely. And they probably will, because I feel like he's a prospect you'd want to try to build up. He's only 21. He's 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I was the biggest moron when I was 21.
Damn, I'm still in my young age.
You're like, what, 22?
Yeah, 22. Turned 23 soon.
All right, we can move on. Real quick. Prado Skywalker used the Force.
Literally.
Like, yo, he's got to kick his coach though. That coach got to go.
Yeah, man, that was.
You can have a corner who cares that little about your health. Like, that's when you throw in the towel, when your guy says, "I can't see." But yeah, it happens. I guess because he was 1-1, the coach had hope, but
yeah, not after that.
All right, we can move on. Next up, we've got our co-main event of the evening. We got Vitor Petrino versus Tyson Pedro. Petrino 10-0. He's undefeated, 26 years old, 6'2" with a 77-inch reach. Pedro, he's 10-4-0, 6 years older at 32. Going to be 1 inch taller and have a 2-inch reach advantage. Why don't you start us off, prop?
Yeah, so I mean, it's just another line that I feel like is just a little bit crazy. Like, I'm not laying minus 315 on Vitor Petrino against Tyson Pedro here. I like Petrino to win, but like, you know, Tyson Pedro just has like that ability in round 1 to finish people. I mean, he literally has all his wins in the first round. Then after the first round, he hasn't won one fight. I think Tyson Pedro really slacks head movement. I feel like him going to city kickboxing really has kind of like switched his style and his pressure striking. Like I like city kickboxing. They like to use a bunch of movement and throw a bunch of inside leg kicks and throw a bunch of outside leg kicks. I don't really think Tyson Pedro honestly has the cardio to do that, and I don't even really feel like that's his style. Like the Modestas Bukalkas fight, like I mean, my God, like I fucking bet Tyson Pedro in that spot, and he just had me absolutely sick to my goddamn stomach with the fight IQ. Like this guy is going for like he's going for like a heel hook of like Ryan Hall type shit. He goes to do a somersault and tries to get a heel hook and he just completely fumbled after that. I don't think he's going to be able to get He might be able to get takedowns here against Petrino, but I mean, Petrino gave up his back against Anton, but he's just so damn strong and he's just able to get these guys off of his back. I think Vitor packs tons of power. Every time they're in close range of boxing, when you watch Petrino's tape, he puts everything into his punches. I feel like he's going to be able to crack Tyson Pedro a lot here. But like, I mean, Vitor Petrino, like, I feel like a lot of people aren't seeing that this guy's chin really isn't great. I don't really think like he got dropped bad against Bellato in the Contender Series. He got stunned really bad against Anton after Anton ate all those big power shots though. So I mean, I've seen him hurt. And I don't think Petrino is going to have that much success with the wrestling like he did against a karate style fighter like Prachniow. So the way I'm looking to attack this fight is like, I feel like a lot of people are saying that the Tyson Pedro submission is value. I don't really think it's value because I don't really honestly see him like getting this fight to the ground. But if he gets the fight to the ground, he is a Japanese black belt, so he might be able to pull off some stunts on the ground. But I like this fight to end by knockout, man. I feel like it's going to be a really good line to reduce the fight doesn't go. I think Tyson Pedro KO1 could be one of the more sneakier spots of the week, especially seeing a grappler and Bellato drop the Vitor Petrino pretty bad, knowing that Tyson Pedro packs a lot of power in the first round as well. So, yeah, I like the fight to end by knockout here, but I am picking Petrino to win by knockout. But I think either guy is extremely live for a knockout here, and I don't really see a lot of submission upright in this fight. I don't really see Petrino going to the wrestling against Pedro. And if you watch closely with the Modestas and Pedro fight, like if Modestas was committing to more of his shots, like Pedro was so goddamn tired that Petrino would have gotten him out of there that way. So yeah, give me the fight to end by knockout. I think someone gets knocked out here, and I think it's a great way to cut the fight doesn't go up.
Yeah. For me, like picking a winner, yeah, I guess I'll pick Petrino. But like, unlike the other heavy favorites, I don't really want to mess around with the round props because A, I think he can do it in any round, and B, I can see Pedro winning. Just like you mentioned, like I think he can get caught, Petrino on the feet. Like Pedro's got pretty good striking. He's keeping it nice, clean down the pipe. The stuff that got Turkali, like that wasn't like crazy stuff. He was just going 1-2, 1-2s and just got him down. And I really do think he can do that to Petrino. Petrino has shown a little bit of a shaky chin sometimes. It wasn't just a Bellato fight. And then in the Turkali fight, I had another issue, which was like, how many damn times are you going to give your backup to Turkali? And it's not like Turkali was also hitting him with like doubles and stuff. He was just dragging his ass down and taking his back. Pedro's a really strong dude. He's also got really good jiu-jitsu and really good grappling. If Turkali can take Petrino's back, why can't Pedro? And on top of that, also, I feel like I always told myself, Petrino's got this crazy cardio for a guy of his size. It doesn't make any sense. And then I was watching the Prachniow fight, and who was winning on the feet in that round? You remember? It was Prachniow. Prachniow outstruck him on the feet. He was landing all the better shots, maybe not the more powerful ones, but the cleaner ones. And then Petrino took him down and was able to dominate as he did the entire fight. But he's not perfect. Like the guy's not like, he will be something for sure. The dude is a big prospect for real, but there's a lot of holes. And I think that Pedro has a lot of the tools he needs to take advantage of those holes. Guy who gives up his back or can be dragged to the ground. Pedro's a strong grappler with good jiu-jitsu. Guy who can be hittable, can be outstruck later in the fight. Pedro can do that, but Pedro will also gas. That's the thing. So can Pedro have the same cardio Prachniow did at that point? I don't really know. I don't think so. So I do think Petrino wins, but I do think the Pedro sub props did have value, at least when I first saw them. It opened round 1 was plus 3,000, and then just the straight yeah. And
Yeah, that's okay, that's crazy. I didn't
just
know
the
that.
straight prop was plus 1,400, and I think
Yeah, I
that's
wasn't on the I wasn't on the opening lines this week. I was literally got off work late and was driving home from work. I was pretty mad about it.
Yeah, I haven't been really touching openers recently, but
Yeah,
I do wish I got a little bit of that plus 3,000 because that would have been
yeah, that's
cool. But the
crazy.
thing is, I don't know if the sub would come early because Petrino
I
does.
think it's more late.
Yeah, if it's gonna come, I feel like it comes later, just because that's when Turkali was able to start taking over with the grappling a little bit. It's when Petrino actually did start to tire a bit.
But he ate so many shots in order to get that grappling going. I feel like Pedro can't eat those shots, dude.
Yeah,
I really don't think Pedro could eat those shots, man. I just don't.
All right, we have a hypothetical gun to our head. You have to pick one undefeated fight on this card to lose. Which one do you think is most likely?
I'm gonna look quick.
Let me run through them real quick. Yeah.
Let me see.
I don't think it's going to be Basharat. Who else? Don't think
Gaziev, dude.
I'm going to talk about Gaziev in a sec. I don't think so. I think if anyone, it's got to be Petrino. I guess if you're putting a gun to my head and telling me to pick one, I guess it's going to be Petrino.
Maybe Petrino. I'm not too sure. I mean, I think it could be Gaziev, honestly.
I'm more into Gaziev, but we'll talk about that in just a moment.
Okay.
If Petrino loses to Pedro, then Derek Brunson, his manager, deserves to get fired. I saw that somewhere. There are 5 of them. Who are we missing? Javid, Petrino, Makayev, Umar, and Gaziev. Right.
Yeah. I think
I wanted to say Makayev, but I don't think not to Perez.
No, Makayev's gonna get submitted in his first ever loss. It's bounded to happen.
It won't be Perez though.
No.
Pantoja. Pantoja will submit Makayev.
Oh yeah, easily, I think.
But all right, we can move on to our main event now. We've got Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Shamil Gaziev. One UFC fight, and he's already in a main event. And I think I saw a stat that Rozenstruik has now been a main event more than like any active champion. I think he has 6 of them.
What?
Yeah. Not sure how true that is, but it sounds right.
UFC loves heavyweight main events, man. They love them.
They love them. But we got Jairzinho Rozenstruik, 13-5-0, 35 years old, 6'2" with a 78-inch reach. Gaziev, 12-0, undefeated, 1 year younger, 2 inches taller, same reach. Why don't you start us off with this one, prop?
Yeah, so I mean, I got the under 1.5 at -109. So I feel like I kind of did my job there. I see a lot of people playing the over 1.5, which I think is a little bit crazy. I don't really see this fight going over. But I mean, I feel like Gaziev can mix in takedowns here. I've seen him mix in takedowns before. He was completely deaf-gassed when he did mix in the takedowns in the 3rd round, but he still was able to get the fight to the ground. Obviously, he hasn't faced anyone like Jairzinho. Like, he walked down Martin Buday like he absolutely was taking candy from a baby in that fight. Buday he just showed Buday no respect. And I feel like here he's gonna have to show Rozenstruik a little bit respect. I feel like Rozenstruik is obviously live to crack him. Rozenstruik is not a minute winner, but we know now Jairzinho Rozenstruik is now finally working on the wrestling. For God's sake, of people saying that shit enough. He's not working on the goddamn wrestling. This guy will never work on the wrestling. He won't. So don't think he will. But yeah, I mean, I think Gaziev is at live to lose here. I know it's his first main event, especially after like fighting on a prelim. But if the UFC is giving him a main event, if they clearly see something in this guy, I know there's pictures of him like taking down Ciryl Gane in training, like literally picking him up in midair and just throwing him like a rag doll.
Who does that?
I just feel like I don't know. This fight for me on a money line perspective is tough just because like I have CLV on the under 1.5 and I'm just fine with my bet there. But for a winner, I mean, honestly, I'm probably gonna pick Gaziev, but I feel like he's the most live, undefeated guy of any person on this card to just lose. Like, and it's just funny because once again, Bet Online has Jairzinho Rozenstruik by KO at plus 125, and his money line is plus 140. Like, shame on you, Bet Online. Like, what the hell?
They know what they're dealing with. But yeah, bro, for me, I love Gaziev here. I really do. And I loved him in the Budai fight too. And I couldn't for the life of me understand why people were so hype on Budai. And it's just these narratives that get created, and then one person says them, and then everyone just swallows them and spits them right out. Like, I remember this crazy thing. Everyone was like, oh, he had that crazy close fight with the kickboxer. They're talking about fucking Kirill Kernilov, 6'5" man, who's a great fighter, who's a very solid fighter. He's currently 15-1-1. He's still fighting in ACA. He's a great fighter. That was a good fight, a fight where his cardio got tested, and he still came out and pulled the dub. And people are still doubting him and shitting on him for that performance. I think Kirill beats Budai too, and I think Kirill might be able to beat Rozenstruik as well. If we're gonna sit here and do MMA math, and I just think Gaziev's great. I think he's a good fighter. He's a bit hittable, a little bit of a just like coming forward. You definitely land a strike on him, and I get it. Rozenstruik hits hard. He'll probably land a few punches, but he's well-rounded too. Like, he's not just this guy with a chin strap beard that can only grapple. He can clearly strike as well, and so far he's preferred to do that. And I just think he's going to come out here. I think he's going to beat the shit out of Jairzinho. Why do we even like Jairzinho in general? Like, he's like the Wish version of Derek Lewis. Who's he even beaten who's any good other than Alistair Overeem? Let me run through
man. He beat Kyle Dorcas.
Junior Albini in 2019. Knocks out Alan Crowder. Knocks out Andrei Arlovsky. Great job. Knocks out Alistair Overeem. Fine. Overeem in 2019 was still pretty good. Ngannou knocks him out in a hilarious exchange. He beats JDS, at that point quite old. Gets taken down twice by Cyril Gane. Beats Augusto Sakai. I don't even think he's with the promotion anymore. Loses. Knocks out Chris Daukaus, who didn't. And then loses again to Almeida. So who on that list is so impressive that we're out here saying, you know what? This is the guy who's going to take this scary man's O. He's low output. He's supposed to be a kickboxer, but I don't even think his kickboxing is that good. He's got bad takedown defense. He's a fish off his back. Why? Why? Like, you're just hoping for a lucky shot, and you should not be betting on lucky shots. Maybe I come out here and I look like an absolute idiot. Shamil storms right into a fucking counter and gets knocked out. It's possible. It's heavyweight, and Rozenstruik does hit hard. But I just think the line is incredibly generous. It's what, minus 140 right now? It's climbing now. Minus 160. I would have still played that. I played it earlier, but I just think Shamil's gonna screw this guy up, man. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely very possible. I mean, you broke it down perfect. I mean, Rozenstruik does nothing besides hit hard. Like, literally doesn't win any minutes, and he's just low output, and he can't grapple for shit.
And I never bet on low output counter strikers. I usually don't bet on Derek Lewis either, unless like I think he's really getting thrown a bone, like De Lima. Yeah. But this is just, to me, this is crazy. I think people are just also like pissed off that Shamil's main eventing this early. But
I think he deserves it, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. Especially at heavyweight. They need an emerging prospect, man.
Yeah, and if he dominates Yair, they're gonna throw him up there real quick.
Yeah, they're gonna put him in like the top. They're definitely gonna put him in the top 10. He might be. Is he in the top 10 right now? The top 15 right now? Or no?
Knowing UFC rankings, I mean, the heavyweight division has like 17 guys. So
yeah, wait, let me see. He's ranked number 20 right now. So he's definitely like, he'll be like ranked number like 11 or like 12 or some shit after this one, I think, if he wins.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Once he starts getting up higher up, I think he's gonna start losing. Like Aspinall is gonna fucking spank him. But in this matchup, I couldn't believe the early lines, and like I couldn't believe that it even hit -135 at one point. Like I just really don't. People have this crazy hatred for this guy, and I just don't understand it. They did it with Budai, and now they're doubling down and doing it again with an even worse option. I feel like
Budai literally throws more volley than Rozenstruik too. It's crazy.
Budai at least does something, you know?
Yeah.
Like what's going to happen here? Even if Gaziev gasses, is Rozenstruik just going to come out and like put on a pace to finish him?
Like match Schnell.
I don't know, man. I never say the L word. I don't believe in it. There's no locks in MMA. There's a reason I'm not parlaying Umar at -1,000. But I just think this is a very generous line. I think that Gaziev is going to mess him up, personally. That's my opinion. But all right, after my passionate rant, let's catch up real quick, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Zahabi wins a split decision. You should bet on that for sure. Rozenstruik TKO. Why, you ask? Shamil leads the dance, which is exactly what Jairzinho wants, and we'll get Shamil walking into a bomb. I get it.
That's where he's most live, so.
Get it. Shamil going to disrespect Jairzinho's power, and he's going to pay for it with his consciousness. Look, you guys are acting like the dude's never taken a heavy shot. Again, I implore you to go watch the Kirill Kornilov fight, and then let me know if you think he can't take a shot. Okay? That's all I'm going to say there. Rozenstruik's live till he gets taken down. GSP said it best. The best fighters know it's always better than putting to land a bomb. Hey, I get it, buddy Dixon. I get it, but we'll see what happens, right? Only one way to find out. But all right, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with us through this 1 hour show. We actually did good. We made good time. Prop, thanks for coming on. It's been a minute. We got to do this more often. You got anything you want to plug before we hop on out?
Yeah, you guys can check me out on Twitter at MMA_propaholic. I have my Discord linked in there where I first drop all my bets, where we beat really good live movement last week with the under 2.5 in the Barcelos Quinones at plus 160, 1.6 units off that. And Bet Online for being stupid drunk for giving me fucking Manuel Torres under 1.5 at plus 125. Thank you for that, Bet Online, as well. This week we were able to, I think we beat 2 unders. This week we were able to beat the Ribeiro Duncan under, got it at plus 130. It's minus 115 now. And we got the under 1.5 in the main event at minus 109. It's minus 180 now. So make sure you guys join my Discord link as well. I'll be posting little YouTube short clips as well for my breakdowns this week. So make sure you guys are looking out alerts that for well. I'll be tweeting about that as well. I'll be making those, I think, Thursday after DraftKings, BetRivers, and FanDuel comes out with all their props as well. So, yeah, Couch, thank you for having me on the show, man. Appreciate it a lot, man. Had a good time, and let's make some money this weekend, man.
Yes, sir. And then real quick, I'll plug all my stuff, and then we'll get out of here. Tomorrow, I will hopefully drop my YouTube shorts, but it's a busy day tomorrow, so it might end up having to be on Thursday, just so you guys know. If you haven't seen it before, my YouTube shorts are 1-minute breakdowns, real quick, each fight, boom, 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 and we go. I talk fast, so I try to get in as much information as I can in there. And then also tomorrow, I'll be on VB MMA Picks. I don't know his full name, VB. I'll be on his channel breaking down some fights, so check that out. And I will be interviewing my guy Josh Frem tomorrow, which should be a great time. That won't be live, but I'll upload it afterwards. And then next week, I've got a pretty dope interview locked in with our guy, Jared Gooden, who cashed some tickets for us last time out. So I'm excited to talk to him. And that's going to be really it. Once again, all my picks now are on the Beer Money Picks Discord. It's a paid Discord. You get not just my picks. I'm the MMA guy, but then you also get picks from all these other guys who do basketball, football, baseball, all the stuff that I don't understand at all. They do it. They're good at it. They're over here hitting lottos left and right. I think we had some crazy hit the other day with like a plus 4,400. I think yesterday someone turned 10 into 12,000. Yeah, just they're hitting crazy shit on stuff I don't understand. So if you're into all sports, not just MMA, might be worth checking out. And that's where all of my bets will be from now on. You guys did get lucky. I placed my Shamil Gaziev bet before they brought me in. So that's going to be our free bet of the week. Got 3 units on Shamil Gaziev at minus 142 and might end up being my only money line at this rate. So Yeah. And that's it from me, guys. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you again to Prop. Good luck and peace out.